Hello and welcome to a VOA special, and today we have a very special guest in our studios, His Excellency the Ambassador of Nepal in the United States, Dr. Arjun Kumar Karki. Dr. Karki, thank you very much and welcome to VOA.
Thank you very much for the invitation.
First of all, please accept my heartiest best wishes for the people of Nepal during their hard times, and my heart goes out to all the Nepalis who have suffered during the earthquakes and also suffering because I was looking at the news today. There were two aftershocks, 4.6 and 4.4 magnitude aftershocks today, and yesterday there was a 5.3 magnitude aftershock. So definitely the situation in Nepal is not improving significantly because people who have lost their homes, who have lost everything that they had, are still in the fear, living in the fear.
Yes, in fact, the main earthquake that was taken place on 25th of April was the largest one, but the subsequent aftershocks were more scary, more frightening, more terrifying than the main one. So, and still there were several aftershocks, more than hundreds. So, this is something we are experiencing, still we are experiencing, and it has further terrified large number of Nepali people, particularly those who are living in rural and remote area. And in fact, our earthquake victim includes from our president, prime minister, minister to the ordinary people living in the remote and rural areas of Nepal. So it is really a big loss, big damage. We have lost more than 8,000 lives. Our latest post-disaster need assessment report came out today, Nepal time. It is not officially disclosed yet, but we have a tentative figure of loss, that is $6,663 million US. Is the total loss of earthquake.
Definitely it is huge, and not just this loss, but the lives that Nepal has lost, about 9,000, close to 9,000, and 313 shocks so far since the first one came. So obviously the international community right away started helping Nepal, and the international aid reached Nepal within a couple of days after the earthquake. What are the areas where, especially since United States has done a lot so far and still doing, and USAID has programs in Nepal. So what are the areas where you think that United States and USAID need to focus?
In fact, before answering your question, I would like to appreciate United States government contribution in search and rescue mission. They were able to mobilize their Pacific Command right after the earthquake, and they provided a big help, particularly saving life and rescuing people from the damaged and devastated area. In fact, their U.S. Marine support was really highly appreciated in my country. Unfortunately, they have also lost 7 U.S. Marine. There was a helicopter crash of U.S. Marine, and we are really thankful to U.S. government and U.S. citizens for their valuable support at the time of high level of need in Nepal. Regarding immediate need, we are approaching a monsoon season in Nepal. In a couple of weeks' time, monsoon starts, and more than 90% of our rural families have no house at this moment. We need a shelter.
So that's your basic priority number one, getting
main,
shelter for
yes,
those who are without a house.
shelters.
Okay.
And then second is our kids are not able to go to school after April 25. So we have lost most of our public rural school. It is damaged and we cannot send our kids to this school. So we want to rebuild, reconstruct, at least try to have a temporary place so that kids can start their school. And the other need is also related to public service, that is health service. Our rural hospitals, rural health posts, health centers are also damaged. Not only the building, but also large number of medical supplies are damaged and destroyed by the earthquake. So we want to restart these health facilities so that we can provide services to earthquake victims and survivors. Similarly, the monsoon is also a season for us to start planting rice or other grain, food grain. So this is also a planting season. So if we are not able to plant appropriate crop at this time, we cannot really ensure food security next year. So we want to renovate, reconstruct our irrigation system so that we can have a good crop next year. So rural livelihood, food security, health services, social security, education are in the top list of our priorities.
So there are multiple challenges, and of course there are challenges that are probably on a priority list at the top, but you know, the food security is something that has to be looked into it in a deeply manner, because if you don't have crops, then of course there will be shortage of food items for the Nepali people in the coming days. There are many challenges, of course, but the people in Nepal have been kind of disappointed with the way the government has responded to the disaster so far. What's the reason?
In fact, this was something nobody has anticipated. It's a huge natural calamity. It's a big disaster. So no government in the world would provide a satisfactory level of support. So there were, I'm sure, some deficit. But I'm really proud of telling you that we have a large number of military, police personnel, other security personnel were mobilized immediately. Of course, with the support of international community. So we did whatever possible to do at the time. So we also received huge number of cooperation and support from local community there. And search and rescue missions from all over the world were very much involved. And particularly, I would like to mention the name of Fairfax County Search and Rescue Team from very close.
They're the best in America.
And also from LA. There were two special expert teams. They were able to reach there and provide high level of service to our people. So later, we also provided temporary shelter, food, clothing. So of course, we could not make everybody happy, but there were a very high level of commitment from government to provide emergency relief and search and rescue support. We can learn a lot from Pakistan because they have also gone through similar kind of situation that we are facing now, and we really value their support. Not only from Pakistan, in fact, we are a member of the SAARC.
Coming back to relief work, as you've mentioned that the international community has chipped in a lot. You share border with an emerging power in that region. India is your neighboring country, and most recently, India has announced a road network that would provide access to trade and other things within Nepal, Bhutan, and Bangladesh, and that will also go through India. So, what are the opportunities for Nepal in India, especially when Nepal needs more help from the neighboring countries as well? And how do you look at the regional countries when it comes to helping Nepal during the earthquake time?
In fact, we are really grateful to our good neighbors. They are big and good also to us. We are in between China and India. Both Indian and Chinese government and their security personnel provided high level of support to our earthquake victim immediately. Their security personnel, armed forces, and their Air Force were immediately available. So we are really grateful to them. And they were also very much encouraging our government to address the development challenges faced by our people because of earthquake. So we have received high level of support from both India and China, and also our traditional development partner country like US, UK, Germany, France, and several others. So we are also overwhelmed by the level of generosity by the Asian diaspora living all over the world. I'm really pleased to note that a Vietnamese American community came to my embassy day before yesterday, and they have decided to contribute $400,000 US. I was in Chicago a couple of weeks back. There was a Korean community, Indonesian community, Thai, Bangladeshi, Pakistani, Indian diaspora came and contributed, and they wanted to support earthquake victim through Nepal embassy so that it reaches to them directly. And we have decided not to spend the kind of contribution we have received from diaspora community in overhead, logistics, and administrative work. So people are, whatever amount they are contributing, it reaches to people directly. So it is not only India and China, but also several other, our traditional partner, and at the same time, the diaspora, Asian diaspora community are also contributing to support earthquake victim in a big way.
Now, of course, there's a lot of relief work being done by the international community as far as infrastructure rebuilding in the fields of health and medicine and all that. But of course, those who have lost their loved ones, who've lost their houses, who've lost whatever they had, of course, their mental health is also being disturbed. So how are your government back in Nepal is trying to provide mental health assistance to those who've been affected?
We have a highly trained medical person, also as well as a counselor, mental health counselor, working together with the international expert from all over the world. Because we are also receiving support from various hospital, medical expert, not only clinical and technical support, but also mental health support. So our major hospitals are providing counseling support, so that we are not only addressing the general health services, but also mental health services, including counseling to those who are terrified, victimized by the earthquake disaster.
Nepal and Pakistan enjoy a very strong relationship, and Pakistan has also gone through a devastating earthquake in 2005. So Pakistan has learned a lot from their experience of 2005. How do you think that Nepal and Pakistan cooperate during this time when Nepal has suffered the same kind of tragedy? And right after the earthquake, Pakistani military also sent their staff, medical staff, their military personnel, and other items to Nepal, and they also built a hospital in Nepal in an affected area. So, what are the areas where you think Pakistan, Nepal can cooperate?
We can learn a lot from Pakistan because they have also gone through similar kind of situation that we are facing now, and we really value their support. Not only from Pakistan, in fact, we are member of the SAARC, and we have SAARC member state. They all have come together and supported, encouraged us to address these challenges in a different way. Basically, okay, Bhutan, they flew. Head of government flew immediately to Kathmandu and hand over their support, and it was really very much impressive, encouraging to other member states to come forward and extend their helping hand to our earthquake victim and survivor. So, of course, since Pakistan is one of the largest country in South Asia, they have gone through various conflict, war, and natural disaster, very similar to ours. So we can learn a lot from Pakistan, not only receiving relief and other logistical support, but also we can learn from their policy, planning, and other expertise in reconstruction and rebuilding Nepal.
Nepal gets a major share of the revenue from tourism. And of course, after the earthquake, the tourism industry has suffered badly, also because the epicenter was in the Himalayas region, where the Mount Everest is located. And obviously, Mount Everest attracts a lot of tourism throughout the year. So what would be your appeal to international tourists who wanted to come to Nepal and now, after the earthquake and because of the aftershocks, are postponing their visits?
In fact, okay, we were told by expert that the aftershocks are not bigger or larger or more devastating than the first one. So, traveling Nepal is safe. There are several celebrities, including Hollywood celebrity, publicly announced, requested tourists to travel to Nepal. It is safe. And government is willing to provide whatever support needed to ensure their safety and security. Our hotels are safe. Our major tourist destinations are safe. For example, Pokhara is one of the popular destinations of tourism. Annapurna Range is one of the popular destinations for tourists from Europe and US. So, most part of these, most part of the popular tourist area are safe. So, except a small area of Gorkha, which is also part of Annapurna Conservation Area, the rest of all are safe. So, Mount Everest area, of course, on the day of earthquake, it was hit a little bit, but most of our popular tourist destinations are not damaged, devastated, except the Kathmandu Valley. So, it is safe to travel. We are willing to provide information. We are willing to support them. We are willing to coordinate with the local tour operators, both here in US and also in Nepal. So, we are very much willing to facilitate whatever support US tourists need in visiting Nepal for trekking, expedition, and other luxury tourism.
For those who cannot directly approach a Nepalese embassy somewhere in their country, or cannot directly contribute to the need of Nepal, do you have an account number or a SWIFT code for a bank where people across the world who want to donate for Nepal, where they can go and donate?
We have a online system. Those who are willing to donate, we have a Prime Minister Relief Fund. So we have a dedicated website. You can access this through Foreign Ministry of Nepal website. At the same time, we have also have information in Nepalese Embassy in the United States. We have a website. We have a Facebook dedicated to this. So anyone who is interested to contribute to support earthquake survivor or victims, informations are available there. We have a bank account in Washington, D.C. here. The detailed information are available in our Facebook and website.
What's the address of the website?
Nepalese Embassy in USA.
Okay, .com. Of course.
This is Facebook.
.com
This is Facebook.
Okay.
But we have an embassy website as well.
Great.
So you can also access information from Facebook.
Yeah.
So, but also Prime Minister Disaster Relief Fund.
Right.
You can Google search, you will find detailed information there. And it's also very transparent. So all the name list of contributors are also available online. So it is very transparent, but you have multiple choice. You can directly come and hand over like the American Vietnamese did last week, or Korean, Thai, Indian, Bangladeshi, Pakistani diaspora have raised fund and they have contributed through Embassy of Nepal based in Washington, D.C. But they can also do online. Okay, they can contribute online. So real information are available in our Facebook and also in our website.
And in the end, and this is my last question, what is your appeal to our global viewers?
I would like to appeal the international community, global citizen, to extend their helping hand to Nepalese earthquake survivor, to Nepali government. Okay, we are very much in need of your support and solidarity. We are appealing not only individual but also foundation, charity, member of international community, international financial institution to contribute to our disaster relief fund so that we can support earthquake survivor, earthquake victim, and also renovate, reconstruct, rehabilitate our temple, monastery, and also cultural heritage site. At the same time, we have an urgent and immediate need to support rural schools, drinking water supply system, irrigation canals, so that our rural farm family can benefit by farming their crops and harvesting their agricultural products.
Right. Ambassador, our hearts and prayers are for and with the people of Nepal. Thank you very much for coming to VOA.
Thank you very much for this opportunity, and I would like to thank not only you but also to Voice of America and its viewer. Thank you very much.
Thank you.